There is a question you may never have dared to ask out loud, a question that appears in the most unexpected moments, when you find yourself alone in the silence of the night, when the noise of the world fades for just an instant, when no one is watching and you can be completely honest with yourself. The question is simple yet profound. Why do I feel there is something more? I don't mean more things. I don't mean more achievements, more money, more recognition. I mean something more real. Something that pulses beneath everything you see, everything you touch, everything you know. Something you cannot name with words, but that you recognize every time you stop long enough to listen. Perhaps you have prayed 1,000 times. Perhaps you have closed your eyes, clasped your hands, said the right words, and yet you felt those words stopped at the ceiling, that they went nowhere, that you were speaking into emptiness. Perhaps you have gone to churches, temples, spiritual gatherings, searching for something no one could give you. You have listened to sermons, read sacred books, followed advice from people who seemed to have all the answers, and yet something inside you remained empty. Something remained incomplete. And the worst part is not the emptiness itself. The worst part is that they made you believe the problem was you, that your faith was not strong enough, that you were not doing something right, that God was distant because you pushed him away with your mistakes, with your doubts, with your human imperfection. But what if none of that were true? What if the distance you feel were not between you and the divine, but between you and a truth that has always been within you? What if what you were seeking outside had always been waiting for you inside? Today, I have not come to teach you anything new. I have come to remind you of something ancient, something that already lives in you, something that perhaps over time was forgotten, simplified, reduced to formulas that no longer touch the soul. So if you are here now, if something within you clicked to listen to this, I ask only one thing. Do not listen with your mind. Listen with your heart. Listen with that place inside you that already knows what the words are trying to say. Because what follows is not information to memorize. It is recognition. It is coming home. What I am going to share with you today has the power to completely change the way you relate to the sacred. Not because it is something new or revolutionary, but precisely because it is something very ancient, a teaching that existed from the beginning, but was frequently forgotten with the passage of time. This teaching was transmitted from heart to heart, from master to disciple, in the silence of the night, far from the crowds. It was not for everyone. It was for those who were ready to listen, for those who felt the inner calling that you feel now. Jesus taught it, but not in the public speeches where he spoke in parables so that each person might understand according to their level, not in the debates with the Pharisees where he used logic to dismantle their arguments. He taught it in intimate moments, in the nights of prayer on the Mount of Olives, in private conversations with those disciples who were prepared to receive something deeper. And what he taught was this, that the divine is not far from you, that you do not need ladders to reach it nor intermediaries to communicate with it, that it requires no special temples, no complicated rituals, no permission from any external authority. The divine lives in you. It always has, since before you were born. And the only thing separating you from it is the illusion that it was ever separate. I know these words may seem bold, perhaps even uncomfortable given what you were taught, but I invite you for the next few minutes to suspend everything you think you know and simply observe how this resonates within you, not in your mind that analyses and judges, in your deep interior that recognizes truth when it hears it, because there is a part of you that already knows, a part that has been waiting perhaps your whole life to hear this spoken aloud, a part that, as it listens to these words, is beginning to awaken. What we are going to explore together today is not theory for debate. It is not theology for study. It is something you can experience, something your body can feel, something that can transform not only what you think about God, but what you are in your deepest essence. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." He did not say it would come someday in the future. He did not say it was in some distant place you would reach if you did everything right. He said, it is within. Now, in this very moment, as you listen to these words, what does that really mean? Why was this teaching so direct, simplified over time, until it lost its transformative power? And how can you, today, right now, begin to experience this truth in your own life? That is exactly what we are going to discover together, step by step, layer by layer, until what was merely an idea becomes a living experience that transforms your entire being. Before we continue, I want to tell you something very important, something that perhaps no one has ever told you in quite this way. The problem was never your faith. If you ever felt your prayers fell into emptiness, that you spoke and no one answered, that you asked and nothing changed, I want you to know that was not because your faith was weak. If you ever wondered why others seemed to have profound spiritual experiences whilst you were left with dry words and empty rituals, I want you to know that was not because there was something wrong with you. If you ever doubted yourself, your capacity to connect with the divine, your spiritual worthiness, I want you to know those doubts did not come from truth. They came from incomplete teaching. Because what happened is that over time something essential was gradually simplified. The teachings that were once transmitted as living experiences, as paths of inner transformation, became dogmas to memorize. What was an inner fire became external rules. What was deeply personal became institutional. And I do not say this to attack anyone. I do not say this to criticize any church or any tradition. There is much of value in all of them. But it is also important that you understand this. If you did not find what you were seeking in those places, it does not mean that what you seek does not exist. It means that perhaps you were searching outside for something that can only be found within. It means you were given a map that pointed towards the sky when the treasure was always buried in your own heart. Jesus never founded a religion in the sense we know today. Jesus kindled an inner fire in people. He showed them, through his presence and his words, that they could have direct access to the divine, that they needed no one's permission, that the door had always been open, and that they held the key. That teaching, that original spark, was never truly lost. It was simply forgotten by many. It remained preserved in ancient texts, in the tradition of the mystics, in the hearts of those who kept searching beyond external forms. And today, what you are hearing is a reminder, an invitation to return to the source, to simplicity, to truth, to what was always available to you. Perhaps as you listen to this, you can already feel something stirring within you, a subtle recognition, a resonance, like when someone tells you something you already knew deep down but had never heard expressed in words. What you feel is not coincidence. It is your own essence responding. It is the divine that lives in you recognizing itself. It is the awakening beginning. If this message is reaching you, if something in it resonates within you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Not because I have all the answers, but because this is only the beginning of a journey we can walk together. Every video I share here is designed to take you one step deeper into your own inner path. So if you have not done so already, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you do not miss any step of this journey. Now, let us go deeper. Let us go to the heart of the teaching. Jesus spoke constantly of something he called the kingdom. But what is the kingdom he spoke of, really? For centuries, generation after generation, we were taught to think of the kingdom as a place, a geographical destination, a location we would reach after death if we did everything correctly during life, a future reward reserved for the good, the obedient, those who followed the rules. But if we read carefully with fresh eyes, the very words of Jesus, we find something completely different, something that changes everything. When the Pharisees asked him when the kingdom of God would come, expecting perhaps a date, a sign in the sky, an apocalyptic event, Jesus responded with something unexpected. He said, "The kingdom of God does not come with observation, nor will they say, 'Look, here it is,' or 'There it is.' For behold, the kingdom of God is within you, within, not outside, not in the future, not in some other place you must travel to, within you, now. In this very moment as you breathe and listen to these words, the kingdom Jesus spoke of is not a geographical place nor a post-mortem destination. It is a state of consciousness. It is a way of being. It is an inner experience so profound and real that it completely transforms your outer life. And understanding this changes everything. Because if the kingdom is within you, then you do not need to go anywhere special to find it. You do not need to wait for something to happen in the future. You do not need the approval or permission of any external authority. You do not need to be perfect or to have resolved all your problems. The only thing you need is to enter, to cross the threshold, to go within. And to enter that inner kingdom, Jesus gave us a very precise instruction, a key that is rarely explained in all its depth. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, Jesus says, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. The room he speaks of is not a physical room. He is not referring to the four walls of your bedroom. It is something much deeper. It is your interior, your sacred inner space, the sanctuary you carry within you wherever you go. It is the place where no one can enter except you, where the noise of the outer world falls silent, where the masks you wear for others are no longer necessary, where you can be completely naked before yourself and before the divine that dwells in you. And when Jesus says close the door, he is not speaking of a wooden door. He is speaking of closing the door to distractions, to worries, to the external voices that constantly tell you who you should be, what you should believe, how you should pray. In that inner silence, when the door is closed and you are present in your secret room, something opens. Something that was always there but that you could not perceive because of the constant noise of outer life. The Apostle Paul, who had a direct experience of inner transformation, expressed it in an extraordinary way in his letter to the Colossians. He wrote, "Christ in you, the hope of glory." Christ in you, not Christ up there in heaven, not Christ far away waiting for you to reach him. Christ within, living, present, breathing with you, being in you. This is the central teaching that was so often simplified until it lost its power. The teaching that you do not need to seek God anywhere outside because God already lives in you. Always has. Before you were born, before you made any mistake, before you ever doubted. And your entire spiritual journey, your whole search, is not a path towards something far away. It is an awakening to something that was always close. Closer than your own breath, more intimate than your own thought. The inner path is the path home. And home was never somewhere else. Home is you. Now I want to invite you to something different, something that goes beyond words and concepts. I want to invite you to stop listening only with your mind and begin to feel with your whole being. Because this teaching is not a concept to memorize nor an idea to debate. It is an experience to live. And your body is the sacred place where that experience can happen right now. As you listen to these words, can you take a moment to notice your breathing? You do not have to change it. You do not have to make it deeper or slower. Just observe. Notice how the air enters your body, how it fills your lungs, how it leaves again. Each inhalation is a gift of life you receive. Each exhalation is a release, a letting go. This has been happening since the moment you were born, thousands of times a day, without you having to think about it, without you having to control it. That simple act of noticing your breath is the beginning of everything. It is the doorway into your secret room. Because when you pay attention to your breathing, something happens. You stop living solely in your head, in the world of thoughts and worries, and you begin to inhabit your body. You begin to be present, and your body is a temple. Paul wrote it clearly in his first letter to the Corinthians. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? Your body is not something you must transcend or leave behind to reach the spiritual. Your body is where the spiritual lives. It is the living temple of the divine, the sanctuary you carry with you everywhere. And when you learn to inhabit it with awareness, when you stop treating it as an obstacle and begin to honor it as the sacred altar it is, something profound changes in your experience of the divine. Perhaps right now, as you listen to this, you can begin to notice something in your chest, in the area of the heart. Perhaps it is a gentle warmth expanding. Perhaps it is a sensation of opening, as if something that was closed is beginning to open slowly. Or perhaps it is an old pressure that is finally finding permission to release. Perhaps you notice your jaw was clenched and can now relax a little, that your shoulders were raised, carrying tensions, and can now drop, that there was a knot in your stomach that is beginning to dissolve. All of that is your body responding. It is your being recognizing something true, not with the mind that analyses, but with the deep intelligence of the body that knows. When truth arrives, you do not only think it, you feel it. There is a resonance, an inner vibration, like when you hear a perfect musical note and something within you aligns with it, without your having to do anything. Jesus knew this deeply. That is why his teachings were never just words for the mind. They were invitations for the whole being, body, mind, spirit, all integrated, all present, all participating in the mystery. And now as you are here, listening to this from wherever you find yourself in the world, I want you to know that this moment is sacred. Not because I say so, but because you are present, because you are listening not only with your ears, but with your whole being. because something in you is awakening. I would love to know from which part of the world you are listening. Write it in the comments, not just as information, but as a way of making visible this network of consciousness we are creating together. People from different countries, different cultures, different stories, but all connected by this same inner path, by this same search for what is real, by this same awakening. So tell me, from where in the world are you watching now? And now, let us continue deeper into this truth. Let us see where it comes from and why it has endured through the centuries. What I am sharing with you is not a new interpretation, nor a modern theory invented to make things more interesting. It is something that existed from the very beginning of Christianity and was faithfully transmitted by those who truly understood the teachings of Jesus in their depth. The early Christians, before the great institutions we know today existed, before the councils and official creeds, practiced something very different from what many know as Christianity. They practiced what was called the prayer of the heart, or contemplative prayer. It was a way of praying that was not based on asking for things, nor on repeating memorized formulas. It was a path of inner silence, of naked presence, of direct encounter with the divine without intermediaries. It was exactly what Jesus described when he spoke of entering the secret room. The Desert Fathers, those men and women who in the early centuries withdrew to the deserts of Egypt and Syria to seek God in solitude, developed this practice into a refined spiritual art. They called it hesychasm, which comes from the Greek word for stillness or inner silence. The Christian mystics of all centuries, in all traditions, knew this truth and expressed it in different ways. St. John of the Cross, the great Spanish mystical poet, spoke of the dark night of the soul, not as a punishment, but as a process of inner transformation, where the illusions of the ego dissolve so that the divine may manifest fully. Saint Teresa of Avila described the interior castle, a detailed map of the soul, where each room represents a deeper level of union with God. She understood that the spiritual journey is a journey inward, not outward, that God dwells in the most intimate center of our being. Meister Eckhart, one of the greatest Christian mystics of the Middle Ages, wrote something that shook his era. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. That is to say, there is no real separation between the seeker and the sought. What in you looks towards the divine is the divine itself looking at itself. And in the most ancient texts, those that were preserved through the centuries but are rarely explained in conventional churches, we find even more direct teachings. In the Gospel of Thomas, a text discovered at Nag Hammadi, Egypt in 1945, we find words attributed directly to Jesus. The kingdom is inside of you and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will realize that you are children of the living Father. Know yourself. That was the key. Not believing something external that others tell you. Knowing something internal that already lives in you. Not accepting doctrines. Awakening to a reality. And curiously, modern science is beginning to confirm with its own methods what the mystics always knew through direct experience. Neuroscientific studies on meditation and contemplative prayer show that these practices literally change the structure of the brain. They activate areas related to deep peace, compassion, and the sense of connection with something greater than oneself. They deactivate areas of fear, anxiety, and the sensation of separation. The brain of a person who regularly practices contemplative prayer is physically different. When you enter your secret room, when you close the door to the outer world and immerse yourself in inner silence, something happens at a physiological level. The parasympathetic nervous system activates. Stress hormones decrease. The heart finds a more coherent rhythm. Brain waves shift towards more receptive and open states. But beyond the science, beyond the ancient texts, beyond the testimonies of the mystics, there is your own experience. And that is the most important evidence of all. Because you can read all the books in the world about water, study its chemical composition, memorize its properties, but until you drink it, you will not truly know what it is. You can study all the teachings about the inner divine, cite all the verses, know all the mystics, but until you experience it in your own body, in your own consciousness, you will not know its living reality. And that is exactly what we are going to do now. We are going to move from words to direct experience. I invite you to do something with me right now. It does not matter where you are. It does not matter what time it is. You do not need to be in a special place or have perfect posture. The only thing you need is to be willing. Willing to enter even for a moment into your own secret room. Willing to meet the presence that already lives in you. If you can, soften your gaze. You do not have to close your eyes if you do not wish to, but allow your attention, which is normally scattered in 1,000 directions, to turn gently inward. Notice your body. Feel the weight of your body wherever you are sitting or lying. Feel the contact with the surface supporting you. Allow yourself to be held. Now bring your attention to your breathing, without changing it, without judging it, simply observing the simple miracle of breathing. The air that enters, the air that leaves, the subtle pause between one and the other. With each inhalation, imagine you are receiving life. With each exhalation, imagine you are releasing everything you no longer need. Tensions, worries, expectations. Let them go with the air that leaves. Now bring your attention to the center of your chest, to the area of the heart. Not the physical heart that pumps blood, but the inner space that exists there. A space of depth, of warmth, of presence. That is your secret place, your inner room, the sanctuary that was always available to you. And as you rest there in that space of the heart, I want you to mentally, gently, without effort, repeat a phrase. Not as a demand, not as an attempt to convince yourself of something, simply as a reminder, as a truth you are recognizing. The divine lives in me. Repeat it internally, with each exhalation if you wish. The divine lives in me. Do not say it as if you want something to happen. Say it as if you are recognizing something that is already true, as if you are returning home after a long journey and can finally say, I am here. I was always here. The divine lives in me. Allow those words to descend from your head to your heart. Let them stop being an idea and become a sensation. Let your body receive them as it receives water when it is thirsty. Perhaps you notice a gentle expansion in your chest. Perhaps you feel tears wanting to come, ancient tears that are finally finding permission. Perhaps there is a deep relief, as if a tension you had been carrying for years is finally releasing. Perhaps there is simply peace, stillness, presence. All is well. Whatever response your body has is the right response. There is no wrong way to do this. This simple practice, this act of entering your secret room and remembering the truth of who you are, is enough. You do not need hours of meditation or silent retreats in distant monasteries. You only need these moments of reconnection, again and again, every day, every time you remember, until what began as a practice becomes a permanent state, until the phrase, the divine lives in me, stops being something you repeat and becomes something you simply are. What you have just experienced, even if it was only a small glimpse, even if it was merely a moment of peace or recognition, is exactly what mystics and seekers of all ages have described throughout human history. You are not doing anything strange. You are not following a spiritual trend of the modern era. You are connecting with something profoundly ancient, something that is part of our heritage as human beings. Saint Teresa of Avila, in the 16th century, called this the prayer of quiet. She described moments when the soul simply rests in the presence of God without need for words, without need for petitions, without need to do anything except be present. The Desert Fathers, in the early centuries of Christianity, taught their disciples to repeat a simple phrase, even a single word, coordinated with the breath, until that word ceased to be a thought and became a living presence in the heart. The Orthodox monks of Russia and Greece, heirs to that tradition, developed what they call the Jesus Prayer, a contemplative practice that has guided thousands of people towards profound experiences of union with the divine for more than 1,000 years. And not only monks and nuns, not only canonized saints and famous mystics, ordinary people throughout all of history, in every culture of the world, have had these moments of awakening. Peasants working in their fields who suddenly felt an infinite presence, mothers rocking their children who experienced a love that transcended everything personal, people in moments of crisis who found an inexplicable peace when everything around them was falling apart. There is something universal in this, something that transcends religious labels, cultural differences, historical eras, something that is profoundly, essentially human. Perhaps you know someone who has had an experience like this, perhaps a grandfather or grandmother who spoke of feeling God in a way they could not explain with words, but that clearly transformed their life. Perhaps a friend who went through a difficult time and found an inner strength they did not know they had. Or perhaps you yourself have had moments like this, moments you kept in silence because you did not know how to explain them, because you feared others would not understand, because they seemed too intimate, too sacred to share. Those experiences are not rare or abnormal. They are normal in the deepest sense of the word. They are part of what it means to be human. What is rare, what is truly abnormal, is that no one taught us to cultivate them intentionally. But you are here now, and that means you are ready to remember, ready to reclaim what was always yours. You are not alone on this path. Thousands of people around the world are awakening to this same truth. They are rediscovering the inner path that Jesus taught. They are finding the peace they always sought, not in some distant place, but in the sanctuary of their own heart. Tell me in the comments which part of this message reached deepest within you. Which phrase resonated most? What did you feel when you entered your secret room? Sharing your experience is not only for you, it is for all those who will read your comment and feel less alone on their own journey. It is to create a community of seekers who support one another in this awakening. Now let us speak of who you truly are on this path. If you are here, listening to this until now, if you have come this far in this video, there is something I want you to know with complete clarity. You did not arrive here by chance. Think about it. Of all the millions of videos that exist on the internet, of all the things you could have done with your time today, of all the distractions constantly competing for your attention, you chose to be here. Something in you clicked on this video. Something in you decided to stay and listen. That is not accident. That is calling. There is an inner calling that brought you to this precise moment. A thirst that is not quenched by the superficial answers the world offers. A search that did not end when everyone else around you stopped searching and settled for the familiar. Not everyone feels this calling. And I do not say this to make you feel special in an egotistical way. I say it because it is the truth. Most people go through their entire lives without asking whether there is something deeper than the surface of things. They are content with the answers they were given as children. They follow the rules without questioning. They live on the surface of life without ever diving into the depths. But not you. From the very beginning, something in you knew there was something more. Something you could not name but could feel. Something calling you from the deep. Perhaps at times you felt different because of this. Perhaps even alone. Perhaps you wondered what was wrong with you because you could not simply accept what everyone accepted. Believe what everyone believed. Settle for what everyone settled for. But now you can see that nothing was ever wrong with you. What you felt, that restlessness, that sense that there must be something more, was the calling of your own soul. It was the inner divine recognizing itself, seeking to express itself, asking to be remembered. And today, in this moment, you are answering that call. You are saying yes. You are entering your secret room. You are beginning to remember who you truly are. You are part of an ancient lineage of seekers, of those who do not settle for shadows when they can know the light, of those who look beyond the veil of appearances, of those who understand in the deepest part of their being that the spiritual life is not about believing the right things, but about living the truth. And as you continue on this path, as you keep entering your secret room day after day, as you keep remembering who you truly are, something extraordinary happens. You do not only transform yourself, you transform everything you touch, every relationship, every situation, every moment. The peace you find within naturally radiates outward. The light you awaken in yourself illuminates everyone around you, even without your saying a single word. This is how the inner kingdom Jesus spoke of works. It does not end with you. It begins in you and flows into the world. You are the door through which heaven enters the earth. We have walked a deep path together today. We have journeyed from the initial question, that silent question you may have carried for years, to the recognition of a truth that can transform your entire life. We remembered that the kingdom Jesus spoke of is not somewhere far away waiting for you. It is here, it is now, it is within you. We remembered that the divine is not something you must reach through effort or earn through perfection. It is something that already lives in you. It always has. And the only thing separating you from it was the illusion of separation. Jesus came to teach something extraordinarily simple, yet revolutionary, that you and the divine are not separate. That the spark of God lives in your heart. That your spiritual path is not a path outward, towards heaven, towards somewhere after death. It is a path inward, towards your own depth, towards who you truly are. And now that you know, now that you have felt it even for a moment in your secret room, Nothing can ever be quite the same, because once the seed of truth has been planted in the heart, it grows, sometimes in silence, without your noticing, sometimes in unexpected ways, but it grows. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot unfeel what you have now felt. Your task now is simply to nurture that seed, to return to your secret room each day, even if only for a few minutes, to repeat the truth, "The divine lives in me," until it stops being a phrase and becomes your lived reality, to trust the process even when you do not see immediate results. And remember always, the divine lives in you, not as a pretty metaphor, not as a philosophical idea, as a present and living reality, as a fire that burns gently at the center of your being and never goes out, as the deepest essence of who you truly are behind all the names and all the stories. May the peace you have found today accompany you in every moment. May the light you have awakened shine ever brighter. May every step you take from now on be a step deeper into your inner path. This journey does not end here. It has only just begun. And if you wish to keep going deeper, if you wish to take the next step in this journey of awakening, the video appearing now on your screen will take you exactly there. We will explore how prayer can become a living experience that transforms your body, how you can maintain the connection with your secret room even amidst the chaos of daily life, and how to awaken even more of that divine presence you have begun to recognize today. I will be waiting for you in the next video. Until then, walk in peace, live from within, and never, ever forget, the divine you seek already lives in you.